My name's Kuai Deng. I'm 6'10". I'm from Adelaide, South Australia. I play for Team Durant, EYBL, and Veritas Titans in the EYBL Scholastic. Yeah, we all come from different parts of the world, so just playing together and living together, we gel very well together, and I think that transfers onto the court how we can pass the ball and play together.
Kuai, man. How's it going, bro?
Yeah.
Easy. So you're officially the second guest on the podcast. And yeah, this is just essentially time for you to tell your story. I've been seeing some of your post-game interviews.
Yeah, usually that was just off the freestyle. Like, I was pretty nervous that time I did that.
I know this is your second cut with me since you came back from the States.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell me a little bit of what it's been like going from playing basketball just locally in Australia to then going to the States and playing in that landscape?
Oh yeah, it was definitely like a really big wake up call, like going over to the States and playing, like being over here in Australia. Like, I've always been the best player, like I've always been dominant. It's been easy for me.
Facts.
Yeah, and then going over to the States, it was like a whole different ball game. Like, I'm versing guys that are as big as me and bigger, and like they're just as skilled, if not more skilled. So it was a big adjustment. It took some time getting used to, like a lot of doubt and stuff like that. But got through it, and now we back here.
So you're talking about doubt.
Yeah.
So how did the doubt manifest? Because I mean, I'd imagine that you leaving here with the status that you left here with, you would have been feeling pretty confident with your ability to adapt to any kind of playing environment.
Yeah, definitely. When I first went out there, like I was still myself, the confident guy, like no one really can guard me, and that's how I always feel. But like then really playing in the league once the season started, and you're against like the best guys in the country, it's definitely like sometimes some doubt, like how come the moves that I usually do, this is like my whole game and it's not working. Like guys are there, like guys, you beat a guy and they end up coming back and blocking you. Like it just never happened before. So yeah, it definitely took some time, like getting used to, but eventually like I kind of figured out a way to tone it down to where like I'm not so much in my thoughts and I just like try to go out there and just play.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about being in your thoughts, right? So are you saying the doubt was all just coming from like an emotional perspective, or was there like a realistic element as to why you were doubtful of yourself?
Oh yeah. I'd say like just the style of coaching in comparison to Australia and America, it's huge. Like in Australia, the coaches are very supportive. They don't really shout at you, but over in the States, like especially competing at such a high level, like there is no kind of room for error. Everything's a business. So like just trying to like shut out the words of like my coach yelling at me, swearing at me, telling me I'm not this, telling me I'm not that. Like, yeah, like it was definitely something I'd never been used to. And like I'd be lying if I say it didn't affect me. Like it really like had me questioning like my basketball abilities. But something I always found that like helped me get through that and like overcome that hill was like just working out. Like I felt like working out like gave me that confidence. Like making shots when it's just me in the gym, like it made me feel good about myself. And like having a teammate of my roommate that like we just shared the same struggle. Like we were both like getting in our heads about our coach, and just like I just found that like talking with him and like discussing it as well as just working out, it really like helped me become more free and like stop thinking like about, oh, if I do this, my coach is gonna say that, and it's allowed me to perform at a better level.
Oh, fact. So you're saying you were able to find confidence in training more?
Yeah, definitely. Like,
So like my question in that as well is like in terms of then the doubt, right? in the midst of the doubt, were there stages where you believed you could be successful, or was it all completely just pessimism?
Now, if I'm honest, like when that doubt started to kick in, like it was just all doubt. Like I had never like doubted my abilities ever. Like
Oh, damn. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like I was always like confident in what I could do because it always worked. And then like
Facts.
all of a sudden it doesn't work for the first time in your life, and then it's like the whole world's crashing down. You don't know what's going on. Like can I not hoop no more? Like I know I'm good because I got out here, but it's like why is nothing working? Like
Yeah.
yeah, it really did. Like yeah, that part was just all doubt. I'll just be honest, and it took a while to like trying to shake that doubt off and just come with a different mindset every day. Like
Yeah. I think an important thing that you're saying is mindset. Because I can reflect on times that I've been doubtful of my own abilities. And when I've thought that like everything that I've done, everything that I can try is not going to work, especially when I'm comparing myself to other people that are thriving in the sport itself. I would go through that thought process of, oh, these people are just like this. They deserve these types of accolades, and I will never be able to get them, regardless of how hard I try. Um, and it's funny that you talk about training more is what got you that confidence to be able to overcome that doubt. Because what I came to find as well is that there's an equation to it where you've come to find that the more time you put into something, the more effort and the more concentration you put into it, the more likely you are to see the results that you're going to get, even if it doesn't feel like you're achieving them now, you know? So yeah, I thought it was very interesting that you said that. Now, I've just got to ask one thing as well in terms of like self-belief. Um, do you think there's a line between what we believe we can achieve and what we actually can achieve?
for me, I don't think there's any line. Like for me, like being around like some of the top players in like my class and in the country, like these guys really believe like they're the best in the whole wide world. So like, and a lot of that you could say some of it is a bit delusion. Like you really have to believe like believe something can happen for it to even have a chance of happening. Like
Facts.
if you believe you're gonna make it to the league, like you have to 100% believe that for there to even be a chance. Because if you're not confident in yourself, you're not gonna play. Like you reach a certain level where talent, like it can't do all of it. Like you have to have the right mindset and all these things. And like if you don't have that, and if you don't have that slight bit of delusion, I
Yeah.
feel like it's just like you're just kind of setting yourself up for failure already. So
Facts. See, I can attest to that because for me, I think the biggest example that I can talk about in terms of doubt and self-belief would have been when I started my PhD, right? I was going into essentially a postgraduate degree, having only done like a bachelor degree. And so I was going from being given lectures by these people to then sitting in the same room with these people in their normal meetings. And I felt like, oh crap, I'll never be as good as these people. I'll never be able to actually trade cards with these people, sit on the same table as these people. And then my mind just told me, bruh, like we're bitten way more than we can chew type thing. So I was just walking through like a lot of doubt. And yeah, and then the whole process of then trying to ask myself whether me going into this was I being delusional, or do I have to exercise that faith within myself and then see the results afterwards? So believing in something that I can't see now, but needing to believe in it so that I put in the necessary work to make it manifest. Yeah, it took me a while to realize that I didn't actually have really good self-talk, and my self like belief was just really poor because I liked having the results and then putting the belief in there where to then say so I liked having my confidence built on evidence. So I would be more happy to say that I can do something if I've done it before. Whereas having self-belief, you need to believe you can do it first before you even achieve it. And yeah, that was a challenge for me, and I never understood that was such a big pillar to finding success in the first place. If you conceive it first, and then you basically kind of make it happen. So in terms of then self-belief, how did you exercise the self-belief, especially say after like a couple trainings where things haven't gone the way you wanted to go, or a game where something didn't go the way you wanted it to go, and those doubtful thoughts started creeping in again?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like there was times because like when we're on the road, we would travel a game will go bad, and it's like I try and just take it back to the center. Like I'll talk to like my teammate about it, or like I used to call my mom a lot, and we used to talk
Oh,
about like yeah,
thanks.
we used to talk about a lot of things. Like I'd be telling my mom like I just don't think like I'm good anymore. Like
Oh,
yeah,
real?
yeah, like
Oh, damn.
those types of things. And then it's just like a matter of like I believe a lot in God a lot. So like it was just a matter of like sometimes me and I almost sit on the phone, we'd pray after games. Then it's just a matter of like trying to forget the day before. Like if we because a lot of times we'd play like consecutive Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So let's say I had a bad game on Saturday. Once like I fall asleep, that game is like no longer a thing anymore. Like I'm just the same guy going into the next game, and like just having that next game, next play mentality
Yeah.
is like that's just what helped me a lot. Cause like sitting on these things, it's like it's just gonna eat you alive because there's nothing you can do about it. The game already happens.
Damn, bro. No, that's a dime right there, bro. You actually just dropped a dime. That's
Yeah,
you're talking about that, bro. I had to stop cutting. I had to
yeah,
reflect because
yeah,
there were periods of time where I um, got caught in one bad thought from one bad day, one bad training, and I kept reliving that reality. So every time I stepped back in the office, I'll just say, "Oh, damn! I said that stupid thing in the meeting. That's as good as I'm ever going to be." But you're talking about something that's really important, which is finding that reset to basically manifest that self forgiveness. To say, "Yes, I made that mistake. That happened. I've accepted it. But now let's move on. Find the next thing." And you've used it as a opportunity for growth, as opposed to that permanent limitation. Because it took me such a long time to understand that simple phrase, "on to the next one." Bro, that is key, bro. That is key in any sport, any life endeavor.
yeah.
Because like trials will come, failures will come, but at the end of the day, you got to be in the mindset to know that I have to tackle the next one because they're never gonna stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, very interesting that you say that. So you talked about you've had some bad games. So can you elaborate a little bit more on like what's considered a bad game for you, kind of thing? Like what, not getting 10 dunks in a row, or like not getting a triple double? Like what do you qualify as a bad game?
I'll say for me a bad game is like when the team loses and I didn't contribute the way I know I can. Like that's how I do. Like even if like I'd score a lot of points or I wouldn't like. It's more about like for me, I'm a winner. Like I just like to win. So
Facts,
like
facts.
yeah, games where I feel like I wasn't doing right, like I wasn't playing the best defense or I wasn't rebounding the best. Like those are the games that really used to hurt me a lot because that's like really what my coach like used to get on all us about, like defense and rebounding, because that's what wins games. So
Yeah,
like knowing that I didn't make winning plays or like I didn't put in my 100% effort in a game, like that used to like that's what I used to consider a bad game when like I'm not giving up my all
yeah, yeah,
because then I'm only really cheating myself. Like there's nothing that talent has to do with like hard work. So yeah,
yeah,
for me those are the bad games because if I base my bad games on stats and stuff, like it's just that it's such a high level where you can't always go out there and do what you like think you're gonna do, like go out there have 20 points and stuff like that.
yeah.
So it's just like finding a common ground where you like make sure that your joys are like you keep your joys happy, but don't get too happy with little like when you do good, and don't get too low like when you do bad. Like
See,
yeah,
that's an important thing that I learned there because you just touched on a really, really fundamental point that I think about maintaining performance. When I come to think about maintaining performance, it's the idea of finding that balance, that center point, where you're not basing your judgment on the game on specific numbers, but then you're also not basing your satisfaction or you basically your satisfaction from that game on some numbers, and you base it on your your level of effort that you put in, your contribution, because that's something that you can always affect.
yeah,
Um, I've always I came to find that like there were some people whose feedback I valued a little too much. So essentially what I was doing was I would work the crap, like I'd work for so many hours, I'd basically work the crap out of myself, just so I can get a good feedback from someone, right? But then when I also put in that much effort, got really bad feedback, that killed me too. To the equivalent, that positive feedback kind of built me up. So I would basically leave myself vulnerable to someone else's judgment. But when I started realizing that, for me, the most important thing is looking at what I've learned throughout the process. So in terms of doing this bit of work, I enjoy specifically just gaining new knowledge, developing myself, getting better. And that only comes when I put in effort to go from where I am now to the next level, basically. So when I started looking at my work, um, I'd compare it to what I did before. And I looked at whether it was good work or not good work by the level of growth that I've developed within that time. So at least that way, whether someone else says it was good work, I could say, actually, yes, it was good work. Whether someone says that's really bad work, I can say, yes, it's really bad work, but compared to from where I started, that's great work. Like you see that gap in between there. So then at least I have my measure of performance that can't be wavered by things that I'm not in control of. Because the only thing I control is how much I work, how much I perform, how much I grow. But people's subjective feedback as well, that could change, and that's not my judgment. Yeah, but that's very, very cool. So then let's talk about a good game for you then. How does a good game look like for you? Can you give us an example of, like, say, one of your favorite games from the seasons that just passed?
I'd say one of my favorite games is like actually the first game of the season. We versed a team called like Canyon International, and like we had worked very hard on that game, like as a team, like just as a collective. When like we worked very hard, and I was lucky enough Hoop Hall, like it's like a Hoop Hall of Fame thing. I was lucky enough to get the MVP of our game, and it was like the first game of the season, and it was just surreal, like getting interviewed for the first time, all the media like talking to all the different coaches, and like it was just a very surreal feeling. But for me, a good game there is like just like it starting in practice, like with my team, and like just working very hard and then getting the result and playing well as well. Like for me, like I always basically like if I could get like 5 rebounds and a couple stops, and then I know the scoring will come naturally. So for me, it was like if I had like over 5 rebounds, a couple stops, and I also had 10 plus points, for me that was a good game. And we got the win. We were always over the moon after games like that.
Yeah, because with that too as well, I can ask you this question. I think you mentioned that your coach would press on you guys when you guys don't perform well, and then you don't get the win. So what about when you perform poorly but you get the win? Is that energy still reciprocated, or is it just the win that counts?
For me, I'd say definitely something like I had to kind of improve on was like, yeah, sometimes you're gonna win games, and it's not gonna be because of you, like, and just like, cause yeah, sometimes like we used to win games, and I like just didn't perform the best.
Yeah.
And like in those games, the coach won't get on you like that because all they care about is winning. But like,
facts,
for you, like yourself, like, yeah, you gotta like, it takes a lot of growing to realize you can't always be that factor that wins the game for the team. But just like being happy within like, being a part of that team and winning is like what the main thing should be. So yeah, it took a while to understand that. But like once I did, it made games like so much easier because you just try and you control what you can control. Like not try, because I can't control if I don't go out and score like as much points as I want to. But as long as the team gets to win, that's like what I should be happy about. So, yeah.
So then in terms of like, so let's try to talk about it from like a coach's perspective then.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think the coaches care about most in terms of like, from the whole team's perspective in terms of performance? Is it consistency? Is it just doing whatever it takes to win? Or what elements do you think they care about that then dictate whether they're going to come hard on you guys? Oh, pause.
Yeah.
Damn, that's the first pause on this podcast. Wait, whether they're going to be, let me think wisely about my choice of words. Whether they're going to be like more aggressive in terms of training and like that discipline to make sure that what happened didn't happen again, or yeah. So what do you think that they look out for as from like a team perspective and then from an individual player perspective?
I'd say like from a coach's point, like, I can only speak really my coach in the way he was like. He'd really like be big on like following the scout because we'd scout a lot for games.
Oh,
Yeah,
following the scout.
yeah. So it was like when we weren't doing the things that they were telling us to do, because in their mind they believe whatever they're provided in the scout is what it takes to win. So if we're not doing that and we lose, and then like that's where the frustration comes from. Like for them, what they like they're happy when we're playing defense, like we're giving it our all, like we're diving on the floor for loose basketballs and stuff like that. Like when we show that we're showing like giving it our best,
Yeah.
like our coaches, like there's been games where we've played our hardest and we've just lost.
Yeah.
And they haven't been upset because like we've done the right thing. We've done it. It's just sometimes teams are better than you. So
Facts, yeah.
But individually, I'd say like their expectations of us is just what they tell us. Like if a coach, because every time like all teams are different, so it's like one game my skill set might be what we need to win, and then another game it could be another person's. So just like when your number's called by a coach, like being ready and performing
Yeah.
is like the main thing that they love. Like as an individual, like when they break it down into individual players on the team.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're talking about scouts, so what do you mean by? Can you just define that for me? Because I've got two different meanings, but I want to clarify what you meant by scout.
Oh yeah, so no, in America, like we do these things called scouts where like all the games of like our opponents and stuff, because the league we're playing in is like it gets filmed and stuff. So there's an app where like one of our coaches will break down their film, like
Oh, so
set by set. Yeah, so
the
we'll
opposites
yeah,
film,
the opposite team's film.
Yeah.
So we'll break down their sets, like figure out their patterns, and then during that week we'll create. But that whole week will just be creating a defense to stop their offense.
Facts.
Yeah,
I see.
so we'll have like a scout team and then like the players that really play. And then yeah, it's just a matter of that.
Yeah.
So we're getting all the like preparation for the game, we're scouting and we're doing the right. So yeah, to make sure we're prepared for come ball time.
Oh, so you guys are plotting, like
Yeah.
you guys are plotting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so essentially, when you guys go into a game, then there's a clear plan on how things are going to be conducted.
Yeah.
So you've anticipated certain plays from the opponents, and the team has an idea of okay, if the ball goes this way, or if these players are put in this positions, we have to respond this way. Okay, cool. So then you're saying your coaches will get a bit more frustrated if you didn't follow the
That
scout.
to the T, yeah.
To the T.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're pedantic about it like that.
Yeah, because like obviously playing in the league we play in the like the EYBL Scholastic, like it's the top 12 best teams in the nation essentially.
Yeah.
So like there's obviously top players in the team. So like if they're identifying who does what and like you're practicing with it throughout the whole week and then come game time, you go away from the scout and the players do what the scout said they were going to do and we didn't stop it.
Yeah.
It's like a different level of frustration for them.
Yeah.
Because they told you they were going to do it.
Yeah.
They showed you how to stop it and then it didn't get stopped. And then it's like, that's where the main frustration comes from. Like that's where it would get the most yelling and stuff like that.
Now, from my understanding as well of sports, I understand that you can differentiate a player that is good in terms of doing drills and a player that can apply their brain in the game. So people that have good game IQ, right? Now, I think one thing that I struggled with when I was playing soccer was I was phenomenal at, subjectively, I was phenomenal at following plays, following drills, knowing that, okay, this is a premeditated position, I need to be there. This is already pre-organized, I need to be there. One thing I didn't do so well was thinking on the spot. Mind you, I didn't play as much. So then the times I got to play games, I was versing people that play weekly. So me thinking on the spot was the hardest thing. So when it comes to then these scouts or these the plays that you've already planned to have against your opponents, how do you go about then being spontaneous in your judgment So you can see that, okay, according to our players, we're meant to do this, but in the moment you feel as though the better opportunity would come if you do something different. How flexible do you think you become, or you have become in terms of kind of being able to judge whether you should follow what they tell you or do something better because you think they didn't account for this situation?
Yeah, no, obviously, like, the scout is there to give you like a guideline of what to do, but at the end of the day, it's basketball. So like, sometimes if you make like at the end of the day, this is what like my coach used to say, like, it's not a bad shot if you make it, or it's not a bad play if it goes right. So like, for me, it was just like getting the nerves of like not be nervous to make basketball plays because it goes away from the scout. Because at the end of the day, like, we can scout all we like, but when it gets out there, it's a whole different ball game. Like, anything can change. So it's just about, I say, trust in my abilities.
Yeah.
That like, and my game knowledge that like, if I want to make this play and I think it's the right play at the time,
yeah,
then just do it.
Just do it,
like, yeah. The worst thing that can happen is like you miss the ball, but it's like you have to take risks in basketball for things to go your way. Like
100%,
yeah,
100%.
It's not really black and white. So like, yeah, just having that trust in myself and in my teammates that if we go away from what the coach says, that we're gonna be successful sometimes. But also like keeping that discipline to where we're not just playing like jungle ball where like, everyone's just going to ISO.
Yeah,
and
whatever
stuff
you
like
feel
that.
goes type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Nah, that's facts. That's facts. And that's a bit of wisdom there, I think, what you talked about, having confidence in yourself to make those judgments. Because one thing I always used to do as well when I was playing soccer was I used to overthink. So I'd literally kind of just freeze, and my mates always told me, "Oh, just do what you feel." But like I was too intellectual about it. I hadn't had trained enough to let everything just flow normally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you start to have that game IQ. But game IQ comes from
Experience.
Experience. That's right. Training all the different scenarios, and building up your own little arsenal of plays to kind of put together as you go. So how has your self-belief developed? Because I know from what I've experienced is once you tackle one challenge, there's a bigger boss awaiting you, and you go through that same process again. You doubt yourself. You question whether you can achieve it. Have you found, aside from just training more, any other systems to kind of help pick yourself up or prevent yourself from ever falling down mentally when it comes to like leveling up and the challenges that could come with that?
Yeah, no, I like a lot like you. I'm not gonna lie, like I used to I overthink a lot. Like that's just me as a person, whether it's basketball or not. And like, yeah, there was times where I used to freeze up also and stuff like that. But like for me, I found like just talking to asking people I used to talk to my older brother a lot about it. Like
Yeah.
and I just like ask advice. Like
It's like cool.
yeah, could
bro, yeah.
yeah, like what do I need to do to like why am I to stop overthinking and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So I used to just like a lot of my brother like putting things into perspective for me. Like he'd tell me things like don't look at it like this way, look at it that way. Like where you've came from, where you've started is like it's a lot harder to get to where you are right now. So sometimes it's just about like being proud of yourself and the things that you've already accomplished to accomplish more things. Like sometimes you need to congratulate yourself on like the little things that you've done. And then that's gonna like make it easier for you to like in the future, like
You're touching on something there. Definitely like congratulating yourself, having that positive affirmation. And bro, I'm telling you, that's one thing I struggled with so much. Being able to tell myself actually, well done. Because like it was always easier for me to find the negative in what I'm doing. I'll be like, oh, that's not good enough. It's easier to critique, but it was harder to applaud. It was harder to tell myself, you know what, you've actually come so far. Not realizing that me being able to tell myself that would be what would give me those positive thoughts that would allow me to then believe that I can achieve something and then put in the work to actually make it happen. Now, I know that you said like you talk to your mum about stuff. Now, do they also offer like sports psychologists within the school, or is that for like more advanced institutions?
Oh yeah, no, like it's not something that's like there, but like I've had a teammate of mine, like if you like talk to the coach, and like you let them know how you're feeling and stuff like that, there's events where they organize it for you and stuff like that.
Oh,
But for
facts,
me, I
facts.
don't know why. I felt like it was weak going to like my coaching and telling them stuff like that. So like, I would usually just bottle that into myself. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like deal with my problems on the phone with my brother and my mom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely there, like if it's needed for you and stuff like that. Yeah, they're really good on like looking after athletes because they know like a lot of the people that help run the league and all that stuff are like NBA, ex-NBA guys and stuff.
Oh,
So
facts,
like
facts.
they
Yeah.
know how we feel, like the pressure of being like a kid and playing at a high level. So yeah.
Yeah, no. That's actually it's impressive that you say that and that you actually admit that you thought it was weak. Because yeah, some people I think once they come to realize that there are so many truths that come with the psychological side of sports and performance that require someone to actually be vulnerable and open up to someone else.
Yeah.
That they kind of like stay away from it, or at least some of them would embrace it, and then they'll see what that unlocks in them. Now, did you just find it easier to open up to your mum and your brother, or because I thought personally like it would be just harder to open up to them because you've already gone overseas. Now they're expecting X, Y, and Z from you, and you kind of want to put up this front that you're doing really well. I thought it would be harder to kind of like tell them that you're not doing so well, and like try to take care of business on your end, so at least
Yeah.
they can keep seeing the good side.
Yeah, no, definitely. With my mom, like I wouldn't really tell her like much things, or like maybe if it was a bad game, I'd be like, I had a bad game. But it was more my brother because he was in the States as well.
Oh,
So
oh,
like,
cool, cool.
yeah,
What?
he was in the States. He was in Baltimore, playing like at a junior college. So
Oh, for real?
so we kind of like found a common ground in the struggle because we were going through the same things. Like,
Yeah.
as because we're both international players and stuff like that. So yeah, we used to just talk and like, he's like 3 years old and that's my big brother. Like I just started to listen to like the things that he was saying a lot more
Yeah.
in opposed to when I was younger and stuff like that. And I realized like what he's telling me like is really working, it's really helping me a lot. So like
Facts.
yeah, having him like to like because I was around like such like high major guys and stuff, guys that are like projected to really go far. So like again, like coming back to like the comparison is the killer of joy. Like I used to compare myself up.
Yeah.
So for him, it was just putting him into perspective. Like bro, like okay, compared to like don't compare yourself, but like if that's compared to them, if that's how like you feel, like, think about compared to guys that you grew up with and stuff like that. Like think
Yeah.
about where you are right now and like stuff like that. So that like kind of always used to help me like ground myself back to the middle and like keep it all right, Quell. Like let's just keep pushing, let's just keep doing it.
Facts. Yeah, no, that's definitely what I've learned to tell myself is I've learned to tell myself I've already started now. Like there's no point, like the hardest part is starting.
Yeah.
So there's no point of going back now. You're already in motion. Because I'm still working on it right now, but one of my biggest weaknesses is once I start something, I find a bit of resistance. My first reaction is to find a reason why what I'm doing isn't important so I don't have to do it. So then I don't actually have to deal with the resistance. So I'm actually starting to work through mindset now of learning to love the resistance so that when I do something and I don't experience any type of difficulty, I don't find it fun because I want to enjoy that process of actually overcoming the issue. Because it's like, that saying, you can't enjoy happiness without sadness. But I'm pursuing that sadness so I can find the happiness afterwards. Before I was just letting the sadness take its toll on me and then it overwhelms me. But now it's like, no, I'm pursuing, now I'm the hunter. So I'm changing my mindset to I'm being the predator now. Like, pause again. But no, I'm hunting now. Like I'm trying to come for you. I'm playing with an offensive mindset because I don't want him catching me on the defense. I don't want him surprising me anymore. So that's my mentality now, and it makes it a lot better because now I understand that a lot of my opponents were really internal. It was just my brain telling me, "Hey, they're better than me," without them actually showing me they're better than me. So if I tell myself that, whatever comes in front of me, I'm coming for it, and I'm its opponent straight away, like it's now game over for them because I'm willing to do anything. It's not just whatever is going to be comfortable, whatever is good. I'm willing to do anything. Yeah. I want you to kind of reflect on your next steps kind of going forward now, because I know you've come back now to Australia, and I think this is a better way to put everything into perspective from where you started to where you went, and where you are right now. And clearly, I know you've got goals. You're not going there to waste your time. You definitely want achieve some big things. So I kind of want you to kind of just reflect during this period of silence on, say, the next steps, like mentally, like what state are you trying to be in, and physically as well, what state are you trying to be in to go from not only conceiving something or believing that you can do something, but to making it happen. This has been Kuai, and we'll see you guys on the next cut.